It always begins quietly. A new man, a new smile, a highlight reel of happiness she swears is real. But if you look closer, you'll see it, the flicker behind her eyes. Because people don't replace what's real, brother. They just try to cover it. And no matter how bright the distraction, it can't outshine the truth she's still running from. You see, what looks like moving on is rarely healing. It's escape. She's not building a new love. She's hiding from the silence you left behind. That silence that once made her feel safe now exposes what she never faced. And when the noise fades, she'll learn what every illusion hides. The thrill of new always collapses under the weight of what's real. In this video, we'll break down the psychology behind why her new guy won't last, and how your stillness becomes the mirror that makes her see the truth. By the end, you'll understand why she always circles back to the man who never chased. If you've ever watched someone replace you too fast, only to realize they can't replace what they feel, like this video right now. Comment "Illusion" below. So I know you're here. Share this with a brother who needs to hear this tonight. Don't just watch, act. Start this journey now, because when her story starts to fall apart, what do you think she'll see first? The man she ran to, or the one she ran from? Let's dive in. 1. The illusion of replacement. Brother, the hardest truth to accept is this: she didn't replace you. She's trying to outrun the emptiness you left behind. What looks like happiness is just distraction wearing a new face. Those smiles on her feed, the new man at her side, the "I've moved on" energy, none of it means peace. It's denial, not healing, because real healing isn't loud. It's quiet. It happens when there's no one around to applaud. And she's not ready for that silence yet. When a woman moves on too fast, it's not a sign of strength. It's a sign she's afraid to feel. The new guy isn't a soulmate. He's a shield, a temporary fix to keep her from facing the withdrawal of losing real emotional safety. Every rebound begins as illusion. She tells herself this new story means closure, that this new man will make her forget. But deep down she knows he's only standing where you used to. And that truth, brother, lives beneath every forced laugh and every filtered post. Here's what most men miss. The harder she tries to prove she's fine, the more her soul exposes the cracks. Because pretending is exhausting. She can post, she can pose, she can talk about moving on, but the mind doesn't heal through performance. It heals through pain, and she hasn't faced hers yet. She's just pressing snooze on the heartbreak. You don't have to interrupt her illusion. Let her live it. Let her run from herself for a while, because when the noise dies down, when the texts slow, when the spark fades, when she's alone again in the quiet, that's when the truth hits. The silence you left behind will echo louder than his voice ever could. Every performance ends when the lights go out. And when they do, she'll remember the one man who didn't beg for a front row seat to her show. The man who didn't try to compete with illusion. The man who knew that the truth doesn't chase. It reveals itself with time. So stay still, stay silent, stay grounded in your strength. Because her replacement isn't real, brother. It's a story built to mask regret, and stories always collapse under the weight of reality. When that happens, she'll realize the show wasn't freedom, it was escape, and the man who refused to chase it, he's the one she'll start searching for again. Tell me, brother, have you ever watched someone pretend they've moved on and you could see the truth in their eyes? What did you notice behind that smile? 2. Her escape isn't healing. Brother, she's not healing. She's hiding. The new guy isn't love. He's a detour away from the silence she's terrified to face. When the breakup happened, she wasn't ready for the echoes, the guilt, the questions, the empty space where your presence used to be. So she did what most people do when they're scared of stillness. She ran toward noise, a new voice, a new validation, a new distraction that made her feel wanted, at least for a while. But here's what she doesn't realize. You can't escape what lives inside you. The pain you bury becomes the shadow that follows you into every new relationship, and that's what's happening to her right now. At first, the new man feels like oxygen after drowning. He's attentive, fresh, full of possibility. It feels like relief, but it's not peace, because peace only comes from confrontation, not avoidance. Soon, the cracks begin to show. The conversations start to feel shallow. The laughter sounds rehearsed. The warmth she's chasing feels temporary, like trying to hold sunlight with her hands. Deep down, she knows something's off, because no matter how new he is, the old emotions haven't left. She's comparing without meaning to. She's searching for the depth she once had, and in that search, she finds only emptiness wearing a smile. That's when the truth starts whispering. She wasn't ready for love again. She just wasn't ready to feel alone. Her rebound isn't about romance, it's about survival. But survival isn't the same as healing. Healing takes silence, self-reflection, accountability. And those things can't exist in the noise she's wrapped herself in. Let her run, brother. Let her convince herself she's happy. Because every road built on avoidance eventually leads back to the truth. And that truth, the one she's been dodging, has your silence written all over it. It's not revenge when she finally realizes it. It's gravity. Everything she tried to escape comes back to her doorstep. And when that moment arrives, when the mask of happiness begins to slip, she'll remember the one man who didn't try to pull her back into chaos. The man who chose stillness over noise. The man who let her learn that peace can't be found in someone new. It's found when you finally stop running from yourself. Comment these words if you know the truth, brother. Avoidance isn't healing. 3. The cracks always show. Brother, every rebound has an expiration date. It might look steady on the surface, but underneath, the cracks are forming long before either of them notices. That's the thing about emotions. You can bury them, but you can't kill them. They wait, patient, silent, and loyal to the truth. And when the thrill fades or the first argument hits, those buried feelings resurface like ghosts that refuse to stay buried. She'll start to compare, not because she wants to, but because the human mind always seeks a reference point, and you are that point. The way you listened without judgment, the way you carried calm instead of chaos, the way your presence made her feel safe without needing to perform. Those moments become the ruler she unconsciously uses to measure everything that follows. At first, she'll ignore it. She'll convince herself it's just nostalgia. But over time, she begins to see the difference. Not in what the new man does, but in what he can't do. He doesn't see her the way you did. He doesn't notice the change in her tone when she's upset. He doesn't recognize the silence behind her smile. He doesn't understand the storm she hides behind small talk. And suddenly, the comfort she once felt with you turns into discomfort with him. The upgrade she thought she made begins to feel like a downgrade she can't explain. That's when the illusion starts to crumble, because pretending something is perfect doesn't make it real. She'll start to feel it in the pauses between texts, in the awkward moments that never existed with you, in the conversations that lack the spark of understanding she once took for granted. That's when she realizes, this man may be new, but he's not better. He's just different, and different doesn't mean right. You see, brother, truth doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't argue or demand to be heard. It simply waits for illusion to wear thin. And when it does, truth steps out quietly, exposing everything false. The cracks in her new relationship are not random. They're the proof that real connection can't be replaced with novelty. You can't recreate depth with distraction. So don't be fooled by what looks stable from afar. Every rebound has its breaking point, and when it comes, it won't be because of you. It'll be because she finally sees the difference between escaping pain and finding peace. Stay silent. Stay grounded. Because while she's learning that lesson the hard way, you'll already be standing on the other side of it, steady, self-controlled, and unshaken. That's when her memory of you will shift from background noise to the standard she can't unsee. And when that happens, brother, she won't be wondering if you still miss her. She'll be wondering how she let you slip away. Comment these words if you understand this truth. The cracks always show. 4. Your silence becomes the mirror. Brother, nothing unsettles a woman more than the reflection she can't control. She can block your number, post a highlight reel of her new life, and tell her friends she's never been happier, but she can't block the echo of your silence. Because silence, when it's pure and steady, becomes the mirror she can't look away from. While she's out proving to the world that she's moved on, your absence becomes the quiet question that follows her everywhere. When you don't chase, don't react, don't even acknowledge her attempts to provoke emotion, it creates a psychological void. And in that void, her mind starts to wander. She wonders if you're in pain, or worse, if you've already found peace, because peace means she lost control. Peace means she no longer has power over how you feel, and that thought, more than anything, haunts her. Each day that passes without your attention chips away at the story she's trying to tell herself. The confidence she once had in her new chapter starts to shake. She asks herself questions she doesn't want to answer. Did he move on? Is he happier without me? Did I really matter as much as I thought I did? These questions don't fade with time. They grow louder in the silence. You see, silence is not passive. It's active discipline. It's you choosing not to feed her ego, not to defend yourself, not to fill the void she created. It's you teaching her without a single word that your energy is no longer for sale. Because when you stop explaining, you become unpredictable. When you stop reacting, you become mysterious. And mystery, brother, is the seed of reflection, and reflection breeds regret. The longer your silence holds, the more it forces her to see herself clearly. And that's not a view she's used to. She's accustomed to emotional feedback, to being chased, to reassurance that she still matters. But when that reassurance disappears, she's left face to face with the one truth she tried to avoid. She's not as in control as she thought. That's when the regret begins, not because she suddenly remembers your worth, but because she realizes her power was tied to your attention. The moment you removed that, the illusion collapsed. So keep your silence sacred. Don't break it with posts meant to prove you're fine. Don't send messages just to see if she'll reply. The moment you seek validation, you lose the power your calm has built. Let her sit in the silence until it becomes unbearable, because when she finally looks into that mirror and sees herself reflected through your stillness, she won't just miss you, she'll question the story she built to forget you. Comment these words if you understand this truth. Silence reveals truth. 5. The man who doesn't chase. Brother, here's the truth few men ever learn. The moment you chase, you shrink. The more you reach, the smaller you become in her eyes. But the man who stands still, calm and composed, grows larger in her memory, because silence, restraint, and presence carry more weight than 1,000 words begging to be heard. She expects the pattern she's seen her whole life, the texts at midnight, the apologies you don't mean, the desperate attempts to remind her of your worth. That's what she's prepared for. That's how she measures her control. Every time you react, you feed the part of her that needs validation. But when you don't, when you step back and choose peace over persuasion, it shatters her script, because now she can't predict you. And uncertainty, brother, is what keeps her awake at night. Suddenly, you're no longer the man who lost her. You're the man who let her go. You didn't fall apart, you evolved. You didn't beg, you breathed. And that quiet strength rewires everything she thought she understood about power. Instead of pity, she feels confusion. Instead of dominance, she feels doubt. Instead of control, she feels loss. And that loss hits deeper than any rejection, because this time she's not fighting you, she's fighting her ego. Every moment you resist the urge to chase, you reclaim a piece of yourself. That's the discipline of a man who knows his worth. It's not coldness, it's clarity, because real strength isn't in proving your value to her, it's in remembering it yourself. Most men lose the battle not because they're weak, but because they mistake reaction for action. They think chasing is courage, when in truth it's surrender. So let her test you, let her wonder. Your stillness is not indifference, it's power under control. It's the reminder that your attention is earned, not owed. And that, brother, is what truly breaks her illusion of control. When you stop giving her the energy she once took for granted, she begins to realize how rare that calm truly was. Stay composed, stay grounded, because the man who doesn't chase isn't heartless, he's centered. He's learned that peace isn't found in pursuit, it's found in presence. And when she finally sees that your silence wasn't punishment but discipline, that's when the regret begins to bloom. Comment these words if you know this truth. Discipline over desire. 6. Her doubt begins in quiet moments. Brother, it always happens in the quiet, not when she's laughing beside him, not when she's surrounded by people telling her she's happier now. It happens when the noise fades, when the lights dim, when the music stops, when the only thing left is her own reflection in the silence. That's when the truth she's been avoiding finally finds her. She won't say it out loud, but she feels it, that subtle pull of memory. She remembers the way you made her feel seen without her having to ask for it. How you stayed grounded when she fell apart. How you didn't need attention to prove your worth. Your calm was enough to command respect. That kind of presence, brother, leaves an imprint that time can't erase. It lingers in quiet rooms, in slow mornings, in those moments when she realizes that what she had with you wasn't noise, it was peace. Now she looks at him and notices what's missing. The spark is there, but the safety isn't. The laughter comes easy, but the understanding doesn't. He hears her words, but not her silence. He sees her smile, but not the tiredness behind it. And that's when the ache begins. Not because she misses attention, but because she misses depth. She traded calm for comfort, and only now does she understand the difference. Then the questions start creeping in. What if I misjudged him? What if I gave up something real for something convenient? What if he truly was the one who understood me best? The mind has a way of looping through what it can't resolve, and your silence, brother, has become the soundtrack to her doubt. You don't need to reach out or prove anything. Her own thoughts are doing the work for you. Every small flaw in her new situation, every moment she feels unseen, waters the seed you left behind. Because your silence isn't absence, it's reflection. And reflection, given enough time, becomes realization. Brother, have you noticed how sometimes the longer someone is gone, the louder their absence becomes? Tell me below, have you ever felt that silence grow heavier with time? 7. The rebound collapse. Brother, the end of a rebound never arrives in flames, it fades in quiet exhaustion. There's no dramatic explosion, no sudden realization, just a slow unraveling that starts beneath the surface. What burns too bright, too fast, always collapses under its own weight. Because a rebound isn't built on truth or compatibility, it's built on escape. In the beginning, it feels like freedom. She tells herself this new connection is different, that she's finally over the past. The thrill is intoxicating, it numbs the pain, it distracts the heart, it drowns the silence. But when the high fades, reality always returns. The old wounds she tried to bury start whispering again. The quiet moments she used to fear are back, only now they echo louder because she knows she's still carrying what she never healed. She begins to see the cracks. The chemistry feels forced. The laughter feels rehearsed. The conversations lose their warmth. Slowly she realizes this man can't carry what she hasn't confronted in herself. He can't save her from the emotions she keeps running from, and that's when the confusion turns to guilt. Not guilt for leaving you, but guilt for lying to herself. Guilt for pretending that distraction could ever replace closure. The illusion begins to break, piece by piece. What once felt like a new chapter starts to look like the same story in different handwriting. She sees the pattern now, running instead of reflecting, replacing instead of repairing, escaping instead of evolving. And the truth, brother, is brutal. She didn't need someone new. She needed to meet herself. But that journey is lonely, and that loneliness will lead her back through memory, back to the one man who didn't chase her into the illusion. And that's where your silence waits, not with bitterness, not with pride, but as a mirror. A mirror she can't turn away from, because it reflects everything she avoided. Every calm moment you gave her, every boundary you set, every ounce of patience she took for granted, it all comes back. Your silence becomes the reminder of what peace looked like before she traded it for chaos. So don't interrupt the collapse, brother. Let it happen. Let her new story fall apart under the weight of its own falseness. Because when she finally hits that wall of emotional exhaustion, she'll look back, not at the chaos, but at the calm, at the stillness you left behind. And in that moment, she'll realize the thing she was running from was never you. It was the truth you represented. Because no matter how far she runs, every road built on avoidance leads back to reflection, and reflection, when faced alone, has a voice that sounds a lot like regret. Brother, what do you think happens when the noise fades and she finally faces herself? 8. The mystery that haunts her. Brother, the less she knows, the more her mind begins to wander. That's the quiet power of mystery. It doesn't beg for attention. It demands it through absence. When she can't predict you, she can't forget you. And that uncertainty, that lack of control, begins to consume her. Because a woman's curiosity doesn't die with distance. It multiplies when left unanswered. She used to believe she had you figured out. She knew your rhythms, your reactions, your words. But now, your silence has rewritten the script. No more posts to decode, no more texts to dissect, no more clues about your emotional state. Suddenly, you've become the one question she can't solve. Who is he becoming without me? That single thought plants itself in her mind and grows roots. Mystery, brother, is the oxygen of attraction. Men destroy it by oversharing, by proving they're fine, by posting every win, by chasing validation through visibility. But when you choose restraint, when you live quietly, when you build in silence, you create tension, the kind that lingers long after the noise fades. Every blank space in your story becomes a canvas for her imagination, and the imagination is cruel. It fills the void with possibilities. Maybe you've changed, maybe you've evolved, maybe you've met someone who doesn't drain you, maybe you've finally found peace, and that thought burns deeper than any picture you could ever post, because now she doesn't know. And the human mind, brother, craves certainty. When she can't have it, she obsesses. When she can't define you, she replays you. When she can't read your silence, she starts to write stories in her head. And those stories always lead back to you. That's the slow poison to her ego, because for the first time, she's not the author of the narrative. She can't shape your image or predict your emotions, and that power shift unsettles her. It reminds her of what she lost, a man who no longer needs to prove anything, who no longer moves to be seen. So stay private, stay unpredictable. The more you hold your peace, the more she clings to the idea of you. Mystery doesn't mean pretending to be someone else. It means standing so firmly in who you are that she can't stop wondering what that man looks like now. That curiosity will haunt her in ways your presence never could. Remember this, brother. The loudest statement you can make isn't in what you show, but in what you choose to keep hidden, because the unknown version of you will always be more powerful than the one she thought she understood. Comment these words if you know this truth. Mystery fuels attraction. 9. When she reaches out again. It will happen, brother. Maybe not today, maybe not next month, but one day when the silence has stretched long enough, she'll reach out. A text, a random like on an old photo, a casual, "Hey, how have you been?" That sounds innocent, but carries layers of meaning beneath it. It's not small talk, it's a test. She's checking to see if the door she closed still opens for her. That first message isn't about you. It's about control. She wants to see if she still has emotional gravity, if your world still tilts when her name appears on the screen. The old you would have jumped at the chance to reconnect, to fill the silence, to prove you still cared. But the man you've become, the one shaped by calm, discipline and reflection, no longer reacts. He responds. Your reply doesn't need to be cold. It just needs to be centered. Short, polite, grounded. Something like, "I'm good. Hope you're well." No emotional breadcrumbs, no over-explanation, no attempt to prove how great you're doing, because strength isn't about sounding happy. It's about being unshaken. And nothing unsettles someone more than realizing their power over you no longer exists. She'll test you again. Maybe she'll bring up old memories. Maybe she'll laugh at an inside joke from the past, or mention how something reminded her of you. She's not doing it because she misses you. She's doing it to measure your reaction. She wants to see if she can still reach the man she used to manipulate. But what she'll find, brother, is that he's gone, replaced by a man who no longer needs validation to feel whole. That shift, the one where you no longer react, is the moment the dynamic flips. She expected emotion. She found composure. She expected nostalgia. She found maturity. And now, she's the one left wondering if she misjudged you, if she underestimated your growth, if she pushed away something rare. That curiosity will stay with her far longer than any argument or confession ever could. Remember, the most powerful message you can ever send isn't a paragraph. It's your frame, your silence between words, your peace between responses. Because when you stay grounded, you remind her that you've moved from attachment to awareness. You're not waiting, you're living, and that's the moment she realizes she's no longer in control of the story. So when that message comes, breathe before you respond. You don't owe her emotion, you owe yourself composure. Let her feel the distance she created. Let her see that peace has replaced pain. This is the question for you, brother. When she texts again, what matters more, her words or your frame? 10. You win by not reacting. Brother, this is where true strength reveals itself, not in how loud you roar, but in how calmly you stand. The battle isn't with her or with the man she ran to. The battle is with yourself, with your impulse to react, to explain, to prove. You win the moment you realize you don't have to play her game anymore. Because real power isn't found in control over others. It's found in mastery over self. It's not about revenge. It's not about proving she lost. It's about becoming the kind of man whose peace can't be disturbed by someone else's confusion. When she left, she thought you'd crumble. She expected chaos, regret, and emotional pursuit, but instead, she got stillness. And that stillness, brother, speaks louder than anything you could have said. It says, "You didn't break me, you built me." As time passes, she'll begin to understand what she truly lost. It wasn't just affection or attention, it was presence, protection, and peace. She'll see that her new guy was never the point. He was just a distraction from the truth she refused to face. The truth that she walked away from a man who refused to lose himself. That's when regret turns into reflection, and reflection turns into longing. But by then, you'll be long gone. Not bitter, not waiting, just living. You'll be out there building, evolving, growing into a version of yourself that she no longer recognizes. And that's the ultimate paradox. The moment you stop needing closure, life gives it to you anyway. The moment you stop chasing, she starts remembering. The moment you stop reacting, you win. Because peace isn't the absence of emotion, it's the presence of power. You see, reacting keeps you in the past, but responding with silence anchors you in the present. Every time you choose composure over chaos, you reclaim your focus. Every time you let go instead of fighting for validation, you build something stronger than attraction. You build respect. Not just hers, but your own. So let her run, let her fall, let her remember. Don't chase after clarity that's already within you. You were never meant to convince someone of your worth. You were meant to embody it. She'll replay your silence in her mind, trying to decode what it meant. But you won't even notice, because you'll be too far gone. Building your next chapter, grounded in your own purpose. Brother, you don't win by proving her wrong. You win by becoming so right within yourself that her opinion no longer matters. The man who reacts stays